welcome to another edition of Living in Shelby Township. Today we are here at the Clinton River, and I'm here with Ann Brazy, the Executive Director of the Clinton River Watershed Council. And this is a perfect spot today to be on the river.
It sure is, and I haven't been to this spot yet, so it's really great to come down here. We do monitoring here at the Coyote Joe's site for water insects, so twice a year we have volunteers down here that get in the river right on, I think on this side of the river from this spot. So we collect bugs to determine how healthy the river is.
It's beautiful. If you've ever been to Coyote Joe's and you're obviously on the river, I mean, this is a perfect spot. But tell us a little bit of history about the Clinton River Watershed.
Well, the Clinton River Watershed Council was founded just over 47 years ago. So back in the 70s, right around the time the Clean Water Act was passed, when a lot of nonprofit environmental groups got started, right around the time when rivers were catching on fire and bad things were happening. And the Clean Water Act was passed in the 70s and a couple other very key environmental laws. So it inspired a lot of groups to form councils. We were originally started as a group of governmental units that were working to help protect the river. So we've eventually morphed into a 501c3 nonprofit, but we've been doing a lot of the similar work from the very beginning, which is keeping an eye on the health of the river, working with local communities in terms of what they can do to help protect the river. Nowadays, we're heavily involved in stormwater education, with the communities, helping teach people how to keep stuff out of the river. It's cheaper to keep it out of the river than to clean the river. The other big thing that we do is we manage, we're kind of the stewards of the Clinton River Water Trail. So this is a popular spot for kayaking right past here. This section's a little bit more for experienced kayakers. We work with the communities to help improve accessibility to the river. So more launches, more places to get down into the river safely. We just opened up a universally accessible kayak launch down in Mount Clemens, and there's one in Shelby Township now. Shelby Township. So we're working to get more of these kayak launches on the river that anybody can use and get in and out of.
And it's not just, I mean, you don't have to be a pro. There are some, you said there are some areas that you really do need a little bit of experience, but you can be a beginner and learn how to kayak on this river.
Absolutely, and it's a beautiful river. A lot of parts of it look like you're up north. It's a little wild, it's rocky, there's a lot of areas that goes through parks and things where you can hear the city most of the time, but you can't always see it, which is a really nice for people who want to just have an experience that's a little different than your typical urban park. So, and many of the communities in the watershed are really starting to put assets toward the river and making the parks along the river more inviting and more resources for kayakers and canoeists, places you can store your kayak and things like that.
And you can tube. That I think is so fun. And the Clinton River spans multiple cities, and so we were just talking about that now there's been some new improvements along the river with new signs.
So with safety, one of the aspects of managing and promoting the trail is talking about safety. The river can be tricky. It's very flashy up in this part of the river and out towards the headwaters. The thing that causes that primarily is the fact that from Oakland County down to Macomb County, the elevation drops 400 feet.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, a gradual drop, but
it's a gradual drop. There are no waterfalls or cliffs that you jump over, but there is a dramatic drop in elevation from Oakland County. So particularly when there's rain events, they're heavy and they're encompassing both Macomb and Oakland County, the water can get very fast and rise fairly quickly. So it can be dangerous for several days after a big rainstorm, or if we have a big snow melt, those can cause flooding events. So one of the things that we did as part of the trail is to develop a signage system. There's mile markers in each community, so as you're going down the river, you get closer and closer to mile 1, which is out, where the river goes into Lake St. Clair. And it says the name of the community you're in and the mile marker you're at. So if you get in trouble, and we do recommend people take cell phones with them in a dry bag, but if you get in trouble, someone in your group can call and say, we're at mile marker whatever in Rochester Hills, we need help. And many of the fire departments along the river are doing swift water training so they can get in the river when it's intense and safely get to someone without, getting in trouble themselves. So it's been a good thing. It's been used several times. Sometimes it's actually been used for people who get lost in some of these bigger parks.
Really?
And so they encounter signs, they call 911, and they can figure out where they are, and then the dispatcher can look at what's the best route to get to, that part of the river.
Right.
Because there's a lot of places that aren't super accessible, but there's little roads like the one we're on right now that, they've got that map, they can figure out how to get down and help somebody.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, it's
I
pretty
know
cool.
our own fire department does do slickwater
Shelby.
training.
Yep.
Yes. And just curiosity, how is the health of the Clinton River? I know a lot of volunteers and schools, they do a lot of work on the river. Has it improved over time?
Yes, it's dramatically healthier than it was even 10 years ago.
Wow.
The river itself was, the fact that we're standing here and looking at we can see the river for years, a lot of people didn't even know where it was. I mean, you'd cross over a bridge and it was, a lot of undergrowth and stuff. You couldn't tell the river was there.
Yeah.
And it was virtually impassable in places because of the amount of trees that were falling down. And of course, no one was taking care of that because no one had any interest in getting into it. So it was, kind of a moot point. But as work started to happen, and of course when these environmental laws were passed that required communities to police their stormwater better and also to do a better job of the point source pollutants, because years ago, there were factories and facilities along this river that had pipes that went right from their facility into this river, and that is no longer legal, and it's monitored pretty heavily. So the river's cleaned up. Mother Nature has a lot of resiliency, and it is a lot better shape than it was. You can eat the fish out of the river.
Really?
You have the same restrictions as you do in other places in Michigan. We have naturally reproducing brown trout up in Paint Creek, or maybe brook trout. I'm not a fisherman, so I
I don't know. I know it's fish.
I tend to confuse my fish. But trout can't live in rivers that are too warm.
Okay.
They have a threshold that's super specific on how warm the water can be. So Paint Creek is obviously smaller, but it empties into the river up in Rochester Hills. And that river is cold enough to support trout.
Wow.
And so we have a lot of volunteers from Trout Unlimited and some of the other fishing groups, the steelheaders and folks that are committed to helping keep the water clean, and they do little restoration projects with us and help us keep the river in good shape.
So how can people get involved, not only with keeping the river clean, but also activities? I mean, where can they go for more information?
Well, we have a website. It's currently under construction, but the old one is functioning mostly. We have all our events up there. We do have an event coming up in 2 weeks, a week from this Saturday at the zoo, called the Zoo Walk. You can get into the zoo for $10 a head before the zoo opens and spend time in there with your friends and family, kind of in an uncrowded situation. We also do, twice a year, we do Adopt a Stream, which is a program where volunteers go out and look for macroinvertebrates in the river in the spring and the fall. And those are little bugs, the ones we were talking about.
Little bugs.
Little bugs that live in the river, things like mayflies and stoneflies, and creatures that have to have certain conditions in order to be healthy. So the fact that we're finding, we also do this in January, we go looking for stonefly larvae.
Wow.
And you'd be surprised how many people get on board with that.
Really?
This year,
yeah, I'm already like, I'm out.
yeah. This year, it was 5 degrees out.
Oh my gosh.
We had very little attrition in our volunteers. They were all just out there in the river, and stoneflies are super sensitive.
Yeah.
So if you have them in your river, it's a good sign that things are improving.
Wow.
Yeah.
And we have them here.
Yes, we have them here.
That's great.
Yes.
Well, good. Well, if you want to get involved, check out their website. And, it's a good thing. It's a good thing to be involved.
Yes.
It's a good thing to do activities on the Clinton River because it's beautiful.
It's a beautiful river.
Yeah. Thank you so much for
You're
being
welcome.
here.
It's a lot of fun, yes.
It's a bird, it's a plane. No, wait, it's a Frisbee. The Flying Aces have been slinging plastic discs from Puerto Rico to Saudi Arabia since 1973. And now they've touched down right here in Shelby Township. Let's catch up with the Flying Aces.
Sister, come here, sis. All right, right back to me now. Give her a 5 for doing a good job. There you go. Okay.
It all started in a gym at Eastern Michigan University in 1973. And 46 years later, the Flying Aces are still performing their awe-inspiring tricks with a simple toy, a Frisbee.
My original partner, Mark Hickey, and I, as a kid, a friend of mine on a trip up to the Upper Peninsula brought out this thing when I was about 12 years old that he had just bought. He was fascinated by, and it was a Frisbee. And from that time on, I was always fascinated by the thing. But Flying Aces got started when my original partner, Mark Hickey, and I decided in the fall of '73 to take it into the gym when we couldn't throw outside anymore. And the basketball coach saw us every day in there practicing. He saw that we were getting pretty good at it. And after about 6 months, he asked us to do a halftime show for Eastern Michigan. And the crowd loved it. And there was a scout from the Pistons there. He saw it, so he had us do a Pistons intra-squad game, which was at EMU also. And the crowd loved it. A friend of ours who had way more business sense than me at some point was like, why don't you guys start charging for this? You know, you got a cool thing here. And we did, and by mistake, business was born.
I saw Brian for the first time in 1976 at Wonderland Shopping Center, and then saw the team 2 more times in '79, approached them to do shows, and I've been doing shows with them since '79.
After performing in several foreign countries and in 48 states, the Flying Aces are a staple to amaze kids of all ages.
I went to Puerto Rico, which was a interesting experience. And other than that, I've just been to most of the United States. I've not been to Alaska or Hawaii doing shows. I've been to the other 48.
Oh, nice, Brian. Yeah.
And what brings the performers back? It's all about the kids.
Probably trying to be a good influence on the kids. You know, Jay and I have always been physical fitness fanatics, and our school assemblies especially really emphasize that, so people like to bring us out. I mean, we talk about math and physics and some other, things also that apply to school, but our main thrust is trying to get the kids to get more exercise, get away from the television sets and video games, and especially the electronic devices, and just get outside and work up a sweat.
Oh, it's the kids. I love kids. I have 4 kids and 5 grandkids. I just love them. They're great.
And one of the Flying Aces' main topics, fitness. Their next step is to help the youth get a little bit more exercise.
We're going to transition into consulting phys ed departments and phys ed instructors on how to incorporate disc sports into their curriculum. So that's going to be the next step for Flying Aces. I'm probably going to do shows for 2 more years, and then I'm going to morph into, and Jay also, into instructing phys ed instructors on how to set this up for the schools.
For Living, I'm Andrew Shelsky. Time to hit the road, Daddy-O. Get the keys to your ragtop or your little deuce coupe and head on down to Riverbends Park for the annual Senior Picnic. Tickets are $12, which includes lunch and entertainment from a swingin' 50s band. So come out and join us on Wednesday, August 7th at 10 a.m. Pop the clutch and stroll on down to the 22-mile entrance of Riverbends Park for the Nifty 50s Senior Picnic.
It's a knockdown, drag-out fight to see who can hit their ball onto the green and who's just hitting a worm burner. Let's head over to Henriksen's driving range for a little competition between our Tyler Smith and Kyle Warzebach.
Hi, I'm Tyler Smith, and this is my buddy Kyle, and we just talked to Mary and Sean about the Hendricks driving range.
And now we're going to go and drive ourselves and see who can drive the farthest. So may the best man win.
I'm going to beat you.
You know, I actually went to driving range 2 months ago,
Did you?
and for the first time actually, and I'm feeling pretty confident. It's still pretty fresh in my head. So.
Okay, yeah, I haven't been to a golf range. Actually, I haven't been to a golf course since, 2 years ago?
Okay, so I have the advantage today.
You do have the advantage,
Okay.
so let's see. So this is my first drive. Missed it. Second try. Missed it again. That was like 2 inches. 2 inches. All right, this is my second drive. Let's go with like 2 feet. Jesus. Dude. All right, slice it to 75 feet. Third try. Kyle, watch, you get like 100. Mother. Dude, come on. Talk a big game, Tyler, but you can't do crap. Dude, mother. All right, let's say that's 50.
So I got to beat 75 feet. All right. How far is that? About 50? All right, it's do or die. About the same distance. At least I didn't miss it. At least I didn't miss it.
I think it's got to be bolted back.
It's all in the hips. It's all in the hips. Oh. That's definitely 100.
So Kyle won the contest at 100 feet. Good job, sir. Good
Thank you.
job.
Thank you. You did a good job too.
Oh, thanks. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. But Hendrickson's is a great place to come to. It's right in Shelby Township, right on Van Dyke.
Right across from the community center. You can't miss it.
No, heck no. It's a big yellow sign. It'd be nice. But I mean, it's a great place to start learning golf. It's a great place to. It's a great place.
It is a great place.
It is a great place.
It's a great place.
I'll put B-roll over this. It's a great place to hang out. It's a great place to perfect your golf game. And honestly, it's in Shelby. So that's Shelby living. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
It's all about getting your hands dirty, but not with mud, with clay for stop motion animation. Our Kyle Warsbach went to the Shelby Township Library, which hosted a claymation workshop. Let's see what everyone can create.
So today the teens are going to be working with clay, and they're going to be doing stop motion animation, experimental animation. They'll actually produce their own little mini animated shorts today.
The teens teamed up for some hands-on learning of stop motion animation, an art form that takes a lot of time and patience.
So in stop motion, in any form of animation, it's 24 frames per second. So 24 individual pictures for every 1 second of video. So what they'll do is they'll actually have their own individual faces. They all have different facial expressions. Some have eyebrows, some have noses, some have big mouths. And what they'll do is they'll manipulate it frame by frame.
Alex has worked on many TV shows in his career, and he now looks forward to passing on his knowledge to today's youth.
My favorite part about teaching these classes is they get to kind of pick my brain. I worked in the industry out in LA for a while, so a lot of different TV shows, but specifically stop motion. So, you know, if they're looking to get started or if they've already been getting, so I get to work with people that have done it for a while or this is the first time, and it's all different levels.
It makes you feel like he knows what he's doing, so you're doing it right.
It made me feel special because not a lot of people get to experience it.
For Sylvia and Eva, drawing is one of their favorite hobbies, and by attending this workshop, it may lead to some big things down the road.
When I grow up, I want to like animate and make art, so this interested me. When I was in 4th grade, I started drawing, and I watched a lot of movies and YouTube videos, and when I saw like them animating, that made me want to animate.
Well, like my whole life, I like doodling and like drawing, so I figured it would just be something to have to try.
So why should kids try something like this?
Just all the different things you could possibly do, and the creativity. You can really like expand yourself.
I learned that you can make many faces because like I didn't really know anything about claymation except for you use clay.
If you're interested in animating, you should definitely go to an event where they teach you to animate.
With this workshop now under their belts, I'll be sure to look for their names in the credits in the near future. For a living, I'm Kyle Warsabach.
Are you interested in taking care of a reptile or amphibian at home, but not sure how to take care of them? Why not adopt one at our Watershed Nature Center? One-year adoptions are $25 for a small animal and $50 for a large animal. You'll get an adoption certificate, and the adoption fee will help cover vet care and expenses for your animal. You're encouraged to come in regularly to take care of your animal. For more information, you can call the Watershed Nature Center at 586-323-2478 or contact them at naturecenter@ShelbyTWP.org. You can visit the Nature Center yourself at 4101 Riverbends Drive, off of the Ryan Road entrance of Riverbends Park.
Mark your calendars, because coming up this August 10th and 11th is the Shelby Township Art Fair. Enjoy the creations of talented artists and craftsmen in the over 100 exhibits nestled in the beautiful Shelby Township Municipal Campus. The Shelby Township Art Fair also features tents from the Burgess Shadbush Nature Center, Shelby Township Fire and Police Departments, food trucks, mural walls, and circus performers, and tours inside the historic Andrews Schoolhouse. Free parking is available, and there's also a free shuttle from the Senior Center. That's the Shelby Township Art Fair, August 10th and 11th on the municipal grounds. Call 586-731-0300 for more details. Or look it up on Facebook at Shelby TWP Parks and Rec. Come and see what makes Shelby Township's Art Fair one of the state's premier art celebrations.
The splash pad at Gene Shepherd Park is your place to have fun in the sun in Shelby Township. Residents of Shelby Township and Utica can bring their children of all ages to the splash pad. Open 11 a.m. to 7 p.m., Memorial Day through Labor Day, weather permitting. Daily passes are $2, or an annual family pass can be purchased for $25. Adults are free to enter the splash pad, and kids under 12 must be accompanied by an adult. For more information about the splash pad, you can call the Shelby Township Parks and Recreation Office at 586-731-0300.
This is the funnest place in the world!
That's it for this edition of Living in Shelby Township. I'm Kelly Kasuda. See you next time.